really? I changed so many things, so many things. I think my dad going away fucked me up really. He was my anchor. I just thought, fuck, I've got no one to put me in line. I can just do what I like when I like. I had a bit of money, no one could tell me what to do.
Before we dive in, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Is there anything you could say to anyone so that they don't spend their prime years on the floor?
Yeah, I just think, I always said, you know, I had 5 years there where I just went missing, and I had another 2 years where I went missing. So in a way, although I've been a pro 30 years, I'd probably only say I've been present in about 20 of them. I've had 7, 8, 9, 10 years where I've kind of just not just been there really. I've been there, but I haven't been there. And I just think for any young person coming through, you know, when people go, oh, if I had my time over again, I wouldn't change anything. I'm like, really? I'd change so many things, and I just think I think my dad going away fucked me up really, and it's a shame really, because I think he was my anchor, and if I was being naughty, he would quickly put me in line. When he went away, I just thought, fuck, I've got no one to put me in line. I can just do what I like when I like. I had a bit of money, no one could tell me what to do, and I just quickly got involved with the wrong people. So I think for anyone younger, and I likened it a bit like Mike Tyson when he first came on the scene. He had the 2 managers, the 2 Jewish guys, and they were good for him. He had custom art, he had a good team, and then Don King slipped in, and all of a sudden he's hanging around with the wrong people, and you know, he attracted, you know, people in his life that didn't really have his best interests at heart. And I just think it's about having the best support network you can, especially as a sports people. That's all we do is do sport, you know, and then there's people that either want to support that or take advantage of it. And I think as a sportsman, you need to surround yourself with people that are just there to put you first and your interest first. And I see it on the snooker circuit. Like someone like Stuart Bingham has become a very good friend of me. He's got an amazing support network which allows him to go and play snooker and do as well as he does. He's got a great manager, he's got a great family, he's got a great setup, and you just see that enables him to be the best snooker player he can be. I didn't do that. I chose lots of wrong people. I managed to eventually get to the good people, but if I'd known then what I know now, I always said to Steve Peters, I wish I'd have met you when I was 19. I wonder what I could have achieved in this game. He went, don't start something like better late than never. Because I'm always one of them. I wish I could have done this, wish I could have done it, wish I could have done this. Steve's like, accept, move on, accept and move on. So I just think having a support network, having a good partner, having a good manager, having good role models is so important. And yeah, it's, I think just having all that, because I didn't have that, and I'd feel so. I'd say what really killed me was I would have everything. I've got 2 kids, girlfriend, whatever, but I'd be in certain environments and I'd feel so lonely. I'd see other people that had the wife, the husband, the kids living together, and I'd think, that's all I ever wanted. I never wanted, because whenever my mum and dad had an argument, my dad used to disappear for 2 or 3 days. I used to be waiting for him at the window. And I'm thinking, I never want my kids to go through that, but they did. And I didn't want them to do that. I didn't want to put them through that. So I felt a lot of guilt. And I've had therapy for certain things that I thought I needed therapy for, but I never really needed therapy for that. What it was the guilt that I'd left my kids and not been able to be there for them. And I've had to overcome that sort of thing in a way. And now I don't feel guilty, because I've let it all out really, and that was tough. And I look at people like Stuart and other players on the tour, and they've got that great support network. And I used to really envy it in a way, not in a horrible way, but just think I wish I'd give up 2 or 3 world titles or whatever just so as I had that, because that would really, you know, that's nice to come home to. But now I don't. I'm 45, my kids are 14, 15, they're enjoying themselves, you know, they've had a great start in life. And now I see this as my chance to now kind of look at the next 15, 20 years of what do I want to do really. So I probably wouldn't have spoke about it 5-10 years ago, because it's like what my dad said, don't show no weakness. So you kind of don't really want to show all your cards. But at some point, I think it's nice to kind of just let it out at the right time and go, you know what, I've dealt with it, it's there. If someone can get something out of it, if someone's going through that symptom. It's a little bit like my book, Running, and my first book. A lot of people from my first book have got into to 12 steps and overcome their addictions, and I get so much pleasure from people that come up to me and go, since reading your book, I'm 8 years clean, I'm sober, and I go, wow. And he goes, I got that from reading your book, because he said, I never thought anyone felt like I did. He said, when I read your book and you said how you felt, I was like, yes, I'm not the only person. And I'm like, you know what? So I've, in a roundabout way, by opening yourself up and what you've done and how your past has been, is allowing somebody else to get strength from that. And I think with my running book as well, you know, I get a lot of people go, I'm into running, I'm into this, and it's been a life change. And I just think, wow, you know what I mean? It's like, I get great joy out of that. Do you know what I mean? You know, because it's very hard for me to get a one-on-one with people. But if I do a book or I do like a chat like this, that can get to so many people, and hopefully, you know, that's your way of giving back in a way. Do you know what I mean? But it's choosing that right moment to talk about certain things, because if it's too raw and you talk about it, then you think, well, really, you know, maybe that wasn't the right time. But yeah, it's just about kind of, yeah, when is right to talk about certain things, I suppose.
A couple of things that fascinate me out of that. A lot of people talk about not getting around the wrong people. So let's help people define the wrong kind of people. What are their traits and habits?
Yeah,
don't have to mention names, but you know, how do we avoid these people? I think
in a way it's sort of like you want someone that's going to support you no matter what, you know, through the tough times, the high times. And yeah, listen, if you're being a bit of a dick and you get home, you know, you're going to get told, and you're going to go, oh, right, I've overstepped the mark. But when you're out there doing battle or you're doing something, it's like, you know, support that person, do what he's got to do. And like I said, it's like choosing your moments and your time. So, you know, nobody's perfect, but I just think having that person that's behind you, and you know they're behind you. And I see it with certain snooker players, they've got that person that's behind them, and you just think, wow, that's a great asset for him, that he's got a team of people around him that are just there for him. Do you know what I mean? It's all about him, and it's all about, you know, having that support network, and a lot of, you know, some people that I've had, they come to talk to me, and all they want to do is take. You know, can I have your waistcoat? Can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have this? Can I have that? And you're like, I'm just here, you know, I'm just here to play snooker, and all they're interested in is sort of like, you know, can you sign this? Can you sign that? Can you sign this for my friend? Can you say hello to my Uncle Terry? And, you know, can you come around and give, you know. And you're like, wow, you know what I mean? Can't we just chill out here? You know what I mean? Just have a nice bit of dinner and tea and put the TV on and just have a bit of a laugh. So I think sometimes you just got to like, and it took me a while because I'm a bit of a people pleaser. So I just I never want to disappoint anyone. And but I've just learned I've probably learned more in the last 5 years than I did in the previous 40. I'm a little bit more, you know, brutal with who I have around me, you know, and are they actually good to have around me, you know, and it's kind of like, so like in a way I'll invite one, you know, I've got 3 or 4 really, really good friends, and I think if I invite him, but then I invite 2 people that, you know, not bad people, but they're just liberty takers really, they're going to affect my good friend. So it's about, you know, I have to be careful who I invite and where that, you know. So sometimes I'll have my good friend with me, but I say to the other guy, look, I can get you tickets, but, you know, there's no backstage stuff going on because, you know, it's just not going to happen. So you just kind of have to put people in certain places in a way. And listen, I mean, Steve Peters, when he first started working with me, he'd come in my dressing room, there'd be like 8, 9 people in there, and he went to me, he said, who are all these people? I went, well, that's him. It was like having a rave in my dressing room, right? And he says, you're supposed to be playing a snooker match, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you're supposed to be getting ready for this. And I'm like, yeah, I know, Steve, but I can't say no to him. And in the end, he was like, Ronnie, you know, and it was just like, and it was so hard. So I'd kind of go to a different room to talk to Steve. And then once I finished with Steve, I'd go back to my room and there was like 10, 15 people in there. And in the end, I thought, this ain't no good either, do you know what I mean? So I kind of just, when I'm at tournaments now, I just have me and Steve, and I really get the best out of Steve, and we have a fantastic relationship. or then another tournament, it'd be me and Damien, and that's great, and we have a fantastic relationship. And you know, they're my two most important people, if you like, when I'm at snooker. You know, Damien is unbelievable, and Steve is unbelievable. Damien, painting guy.
Oh
Damien,
yeah.
So yeah, he loves snooker, and he's been a fantastic friend to me, and it's so different with Steve. It's very
Damien.
yeah.
Damien Hirst.
Yeah. With Steve, it's very like, you know, machine-like, but with Damien, it's like, you're a king. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it'll come when it comes, and that's just because he's creative. You know, he'll go and paint when he's feeling creative, and if he's not feeling creative, it's like, it's not happening today. And he always says, I don't know how you do it. At 2 o'clock, you've got to play. He said, but you might not feel like playing at 2 o'clock. And I go, I know. He says, I just couldn't do that. He said, and all these people watching you as well. So he totally gets it. Because, you know, I play snooker in a creative way, and some days I don't feel like being creative, and I'm not a machine. So it's very hard for me to go out there and go from creative person to machine-like. But I've had to learn that because it's the nature of the sport. You know, a sport demands discipline from you, you know, like to do things when you don't actually want to do it, you know. People paid their money, you know, I don't feel like it today, I can't do it. It's different for Damien, he can pick and choose when he does, but, and I'd love to have that option, and that's what practice is like. Some days I go in, I have a 20-minute rule. If after 20 minutes I'm not enjoying it, cue goes away in the case, and I go down to the restaurant and I eat lovely food, and I read a book, and I have a laugh, and I have a wonderful day. Because if it ain't good after 20 minutes, it certainly ain't gonna be good after 2.5, 3 hours. So I kind of learned to sort of like minimize the shit, if you like, you know, and just kind of, you know, if I can just have 10% of shit and 90% of good, I'm gonna have a good life, you know. And if you look at over a 10, 15, 20 year period, I'm better off managing my life like that, and probably will get the best out of myself if I just make sure that, you know, there's much more good times than there are bad times. So, yeah.
All right. You did say earlier that some people say, I wouldn't change anything about my life, and you went, maybe one main thing you'd change?
For sure, I would never have picked up a drink. And I always think for any youngster out there, don't.
Yeah, where's the upside in that?
Yeah, there absolutely is no upside. Don't, you know, try not smoke, don't drink, all them sort of stuff. Keep yourself fit. So yeah, I mean, I just think lead a healthy life. You know, study successful people. You know, don't necessarily have to be in your sport. Steve Davis was a great role model for me. Michael Jordan, he was a basketball player. But again, I kind of changed the way I approached snooker through watching Harry approach his basketball. You know, he was an athlete. You know, in bed early, eating the right foods, and I thought, well, why should I be any different? You know, you listen to Jeff Bezos. He likes to be in bed, gets his 8 hours sleep, likes to do, you know, doesn't like to pack up his diary. And I just think, well, you can learn. He's a successful person, so I can learn something from him that I can apply to my own life. And I just think, just read, you know, just tuning up. It's like a Ferrari, it needs tuning up, and sometimes just a little tweak here and there can make all the difference, you know. And I just think just
down the A1.
Yeah, down the A1. And I just think, yeah, so there's a lot of things I would have done differently, you know, like not drinking, and I probably, it's a bit late now, but I probably wouldn't have took snooker up either. That was another mistake
Should we just
made.
cut?
No,
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you. I mean, I always say to young kids and their parents come up to us, I said, don't let him play. I said, don't let him play this game. My own kids, I was like, you're not playing snooker. I said, if you decide to play snooker, you're on your own. I said, because I'm not supporting that. It's a bad sport. It can cause you a lot of damage. Unless you're Stephen Hendry, Steve Davis, John Higgins, Mark Williams, me, Judd Trump, Selby, Robertson, forget it. The others are wasted, you know, it's just a waste of a life. And even some of them names that I've mentioned to you, even some of them I just think, yeah, they're good at what they do, but if they could equally be good at something else, I would have said, go for the other thing. Because I just think snooker is just a really, really tough sport. You know, you're stuck indoors, there's no natural light, draw the curtains, pitch black. You're in there for 5-6 hours. You don't talk to anyone because you're focused and you've got to concentrate. Any little bit of concentration, you can ruin your day if it's broken. And you just think, that's not healthy. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not a good way to spend your life. You know, if you look at a lot of snooker players, they don't know how to have a conversation because they don't talk. And you just think, really, life's all about, you know, getting the buzz and the joy of life. So for me, I've kind of detached from snooker. You know, for the last 20 years, they don't see me at a venue. A lot of players go, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I have a life. You know, I like to enjoy doing other things. You know, I can turn up at a match at 2 o'clock, I'm on at 2, but at 1:50, I put my shirt and tie on. I don't need to practice. You know, I'm not that bothered. You know, you know, I've been playing this game for 30 years or whatever. You know, if I ain't ready now, you know, another 20 minutes on the practice table and another this, and it ain't making no difference. So I kind of, I've kind of learnt to just sort of, like I said, you know, I wouldn't have chose snooker. I probably would have chose golf. I probably would have chose Formula One. Or some sort of driving thing. I love driving. I just think, you never feel unhappy driving a car at speed and sort of getting the grip round the bend. So I think I would have chose a different sport or a sport that allowed me to be more at home, you know, so the travelling can be hard with snooker. So like if maybe you're a footballer or something, you know, you get to stay at home Monday to Friday, you go away for the weekend. Yeah, that'd suit me down to the ground, you know.
If you enjoyed this, if you want more, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and remember, if you don't risk anything, you risk everything.